Hello, guys, and welcome to our first episode of What If Civilization Started Over. I am Caucasian Wixo, and, well, there's no recap for me to do, so let's just get started. Alright, so civilization starts over, the whole spiel. We will be starting civilization right here, India. Group of people here in India don't really know what's going on. And eventually, after 10, 20 years, maybe probably more, they make a country. And this country will kind of stay just doing nothingness for a very long time. They explore a bit down the coast and a bit up the coast, as well as exploring a little bit more inland. But for the most part, they do nothing for a very long time until eventually that will stop and the king is put in power and he becomes very expansionist. Similar to how the Aztecs did things, he will reward any of his soldiers with land as this country begins making a military. And the military is not really to stop other nations, as there aren't any, but it is more so just he's kind of trying to stop people from he's trying to stop people from rebelling from him. Eventually, we see a few more years pass. He gets to right here, and he'll finally decide to make himself a major city that he will call his home. That will be the capital of this nation, which is placed right here. And this is our first. This is First Nation, and well, and it stays like this for another quite a while. Eventually, a couple people, mostly nobles from the country, become unhappy with the government as still country has kind of just done nothing but expand and nobody's really paying attention to any of the people. The people are starting to get really restless, attacking the nobles, even though nobles aren't really doing anything. It's all the king. So the king, uh, so they get unhappy with the king, and down in the south part of India, they will form the blue team, taking over even parts of Sri Lanka. And you see the second nation forming. Their capital will be right here. The capital will be right there. And it takes another while. Eventually, these countries will begin exploring a bit more. They reach the southern tip of India, realize they're on the peninsula, and try and see if maybe they can find more water here. So the countries will explore along the coast for the most part. They will also explore all of the Sri Lankan coast, however, not getting all the way inland. They'll eventually try and see if they can discover a way to connect these two parts up, which they do, and we see the countries expanding. The Blue Indian team will expand a bit, however, they focus mostly on their civilians. They'll claim over parts of Sri Lanka and the southern part of India. However, unlike them, the Red team will focus a bit less on the civilians. It's like pretty much everybody who's not too worried about the king is still there, and anybody who is has already left. At this point, the populations of the two countries are about even. However, I would say the blue team has a bit more, and realizing that with more people comes more power, the red team will begin focusing more on its people. However, not much long before this happens, they expand greatly, eventually reaching up with the now this Gulf. They reach up with this Gulf. Alright, all I did. This is technically my Pixel map, but I just edited edited it a lot. So, yeah. But these countries will continue to explore up. Well, mostly the red team. Sri Lanka is fully discovered by the blue team eventually, and the red team will kind of move in and explore all of this land. Two countries will kind of race to claim over this land as they realize it could have quite a bit of value. The red team will be able to take all of this, and the blue team is left with just all of this land. After seeing the red team made a promise and kind of failed to keep it, that promise being to focus on civilians a bit more, we see somebody who's will maybe forever be unknown will poison the leader's drink, and the leader is killed. So his two sons will come into power, but they will argue over pretty much everything, and we see the green team forming from the second son. He will take the eastern or the western part of India, form his new nation. Alright, he will place his capital far in the north, and this is where this kind of ends for now. Eventually, a group of sailors will set out from a major city right here, and they go on a fishing trip. But now we get some of the monsoon rains and monsoon winds, and these storms will push all of these sailors out far, far farther away than anybody would have ever gone. Most people have only gotten to about right here. These guys, they're all the way out here. Eventually, they make a landing uh, right here in Southeast Asia. Link on that, specifically in Thailand, and they will explore around here. They reach up to kind of where Bangkok is, the capital of Thailand, and they will explore down this peninsula. A group of these sailors will try and set back out, and they will discover these islands. And we see the yellow team. These guys will set up the yellow team, and we see the fourth country begin. You do see this very small, like, green team is set up by people on these islands. And I suppose we give these guys capitals now. The yellow team will place their capital right here, right where they originate from. Kind of the same thing for these guys now here. Alright, we see a few more events happen in this episode. A group of these people, a group of the people from the green team realize, hey, each I like that we're farming, but there's a lot of our farms fail. So let's try and find some more like farmable lands. So they move up to the Indus River Valley and they will set up a country right here. This will be the purple team, or the purple Indian team. And their capital will be right here. If I could put it on the right way. Coming back down, these two brothers are still arguing over who should be the rightful owner of this land. Eventually, it'll get so bad that the first brother declare war on the second brother and the green team and begin invading. They'll come in, taking over a lot of the lands, and then the blue team will step in, saying, "Hey, you guys need to stop arguing. You get it? You guys hate each other." But the blue team will invade into both countries, and things aren't going so well for the green team, especially as the red team will still begin to close in. Blue team will, however, then move up, taking the capital, and begin holding the first brother hostage. Hearing about what's happening to his brother and realizing that he doesn't want to fight anymore, he will surrender to the blue team, however, agree to a stalemate with the red team, and we will take a look at a very quick peace treaty. Alright, so here we have our peace treaty. The red team will take over all of that, with the blue team gaining some land in the south, and the red team getting their capital back. Mm. We come back up to the purple team, as they have explored all of this area here, and they continue going up through the Indus River Valley. I, I really hope it is right here. I think it is. It will explore a bit of the land around them as well, kind of moving up towards Persindia, and they begin expanding and making a crap ton of farms. With this surplus of food, they can afford to give more to other people, and it becomes the most populated country as more people from all three of these countries move up in order to be able to, like, pretty much in order to live a happy life. All three of these countries are agreeably kind of mad that these guys are getting all of their population, but there's not really anything they can do, as with this population, they have the strongest military as well. Yeah, fixed, not fixed, but like the color of these guys, make them more yellow, just because They are the yellow team for a reason. But these guys, they kind of like it over here. They've got access to two bodies of water, kind of like blue team. They have like a lot of fishing they can do. So they decide they want to explore more of the land around them. So they move down the coast of both sides of this peninsula, exploring some of the lands in between as well, getting to all the way down here in Sumatra, or not in Sumatra, but near Sumatra. They also explore north, discovering all of these lands here as they go, and they come out over here into Cambodia, discovering more of these lands as well. And we see these guys begin to expand into their new lands. In the north, in the north, they will take over all of this. However, they don't do a whole lot with connecting up. They get kind of close though. They move down to here or through here and will take over all of this small peninsula. And pretty much the same thing over here. And they take over all of this. Alright, alright. You see the green and red teams begin exploring a bit more north. They will take over all of this. Or not take over. The purple team will also explore a bit more. The red team will kind of reach out near Bangladesh. These countries begin sending a lot more into exploring as they're realizing, hey, there's a whole lot that we're missing out on. Eventually, people kind of start wondering, hey, those fishermen have never came back. They're reported as missing, and like, even though it's already been like 3 or 4 years since they went missing, eventually, the first king of the blue team dies as well, and his son will come into power. For his son is like, I get we've got what we've got, but we need more. This isn't going to be enough. So he will begin rapidly developing the military of the blue team, getting them to the second place power, only being second to the purple team. However, the red team is still sending its explorers up into here. Eventually, those explorers will discover the yellow team. And the yellow team's like, hey, wait, these guys, we know these guys. And the red team's like, oh, there's more people. Wait, these guys are us. And eventually, enough is figured out, and it's realized that these people came from the lost fishermen, and now that mystery's figured out. But we see some people in the yellow team are kind of unhappy that all, like, pretty much all they eat is fish. So they kind of move up and away, and they kind of liked it where they were like away from everybody. But now the red team's like, hey, we like it over here. Can we come too? And stuff like that. So they will move up to here, coming up and deciding to form another new nation, this time being the orange team. and they'll take over all of this land. As for the capital of this country, it will be placed right here. But that will do it for today's episode of What If Civilization Started Over. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.